I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, hey, was Target worth the $12 an hour? Well, today I'm going to give you the insight to the 9 different areas about the seasonal cashier position that I had with Target. But first, make sure to click that like button and subscribe. Okay, let's get started with number 1. And that's going to be applying/interview. So first, let me give credit to my friend Jose for actually letting me know that Target was hiring. As soon as he gave me a call, I instantly headed off to Target, hoping that, you know what, it's at least something, let me give it a shot. I get to the table where they had the panel and let them know I'm interested. Well, the girl that was there, she asked me to go to the computers near the registers to apply if I haven't already. And then she asked me to write my name down on the clipboard so I could be next on the interview. So after I wrote my name down, I headed over to the computer, but I saw someone else on it, so I decided to walk around for a bit. At the end, I just ended up sitting at Starbucks and figured I'd do the application on my phone, hoping it was the same thing, which it was. After I was done, I headed over back to the girl at the table, and then she escorts me to the employee break room and asked me to wait for my interview, and then she leaves. No one else was there, which took off a bit of pressure, but then that meant that I was next. The store manager walks in a few minutes later and asks me to follow her. We reach an office room nearby, and she closes the door, which meant the start of the interview, which went something like this. Okay, so Daniel, tell me a little bit about yourself. Okay, well, my name is Daniel, and I graduated high school back in 2017. I went to Texas State University in fall of 2017 for one semester, however, because my plans changed, so I ended up dropping out of over there, and I decided to go work at a chemical plant because my family was in a crisis where they needed me because I'm the oldest in the family. I consider myself to be a very organized person. I follow a routine. I make sure that everything gets done and make sure that there's productivity going on. Okay, now tell me a time when you exceeded your boss's expectations by showing initiative on a project. Okay, well, I do remember this one instance back when I was at the chemical plant. My supervisor, he was called the foreman, and he actually complimented me once when instead of doing nothing like usually a lot of people would do, while my team was up in a scaffold, I was only allowed in the ground. So instead of just killing time and just stand there, I instead just began to organize the material, make sure that there was all nice and neat. Not necessarily like super clean, but at least organized to a point where we can find certain materials and be able to walk. Now, here's something I personally did. Since I had the mentality of, oh, how will I ever get hired at Target, this old big corporation? My chances are super slim. So I began adding some humor into the mix. What would your weakness be? One weakness that I'd say I have is my accent. It's funny because when I speak English, I sound like I have a Spanish accent on top of that. But vice versa, I also have a English accent when I talk Spanish. So it's, I don't know, it's just something that I have. What? I mean, that's not that bad. I mean, at least you can communicate. Okay, what position are you looking at? Well, me personally, I like helping people, so maybe something in the front will be ideal for me. Being with customer service, it makes the day go by faster, instead of just being in the back, like just shelving. Okay, well, all of our employees are required to try and promote the Target red cards that we have here. There's a credit one and a debit one. So let's put a scenario here. I'm gonna tell you 2 factors about the cards, and you're gonna try and sell it to me right now, okay? There's 5% off on every purchase, and there's free delivery on both cards. So knowing that, how would you sell it to me? Go. Okay, alright. I think you should get the Target red card because you're gonna get 5% back on everything you buy, and who doesn't want money back? And also, let's say you want a shirt. You want a size shirt small, and we don't have it. Well, instead of you having to dig for it on our racks, we can look for it for you, so you won't have to waste your time just being there. So we're gonna look for it, and then we're gonna provide the free delivery to you, so you can not be at the store all day, and you can have it once it's ready for you. So I think you should get the red card. Okay. I think you'd be a perfect fit for the front. Now, me being oblivious to all of this, I didn't know I had just gotten hired on the spot. Probably because I didn't hear the exact words, "you're hired." I give her one last handshake, and then she tells me to go wait in the break room again. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I know what that means. You're gonna tell me that you're gonna give me a call, this and that. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I at least got to practice. The interview was kind of fun, and I got the experience. A few minutes go by and then another lady walks in. She asked me to follow her as well to another office room which was right next to the one I was just at, and began saying, "Congratulations, you are our first hire of the day. How do you feel?" You bet yourself that threw me off completely. I was lost for words. I never thought to get a job that fast at this big corporation that I didn't even know about until this morning. She gave me documents I needed to sign and bring and told me when my orientation was going to take place. I was so happy at the whole rest of the day. Which brings me on to my next point, and that's going to be orientation. It was a few weeks later. I had to purchase my own red shirt and khakis. Once I got to the store, I immediately started looking for Target employees, but the few that I ran into, when I asked them, they're like, "Oh, us too." Eventually, someone does lead us to where the orientation was going to be held, which was right next to the break room. The room had a table with chairs, a TV presentation on the corner, and in total there was about 9 of us. And we all greeted each other while we waited for the manager to come in. Soon the HR manager comes in, which was the second lady I had met that told me to bring the documents. Her name was Jessica. She came in with a couple of folders as she was greeting and welcoming us. She greets and welcomes us all, and as she's passing down, this was actually the folder that she passed out with whoever's information was on. And as any class setting goes, you know there's always going to be some sort of icebreaker. So we had to go around the room introducing ourselves, our age, the previous jobs we had, what position we got hired as, and of course the fun one, what was the last song we listened to. Mine was by that person. It's funny because one guy actually mentioned that his previous job was at Walmart, and then Jessica freaked out. She's like, "We don't say that though, you were here." After that, she had us sign the documents that were in here, and we ended up giving them back to her, and then she had us watch the video about Target. I also want to mention here, I'm not sure if this goes on in many job sites, but she actually told us what they look for in candidates and what it takes for us to get hired, which we all met that criteria. It's easy to figure out by now, but if you haven't, just message me and I'll let you know. Towards the end, she handed us a checklist and she had us get in groups of 3, and then we basically had to go around the store and check off if the aisles were clean, the lines were moving, the bullseye display was presentable, etc. Once we got back, we went to the computer area in the employee lounge, and we basically just had to set up our employee portal accounts. And that was the end of orientation. And now we just needed to wait for a phone call to get notified when our first day was gonna be. Which is gonna be number 3, the first day and schedules. I go wait by the computer area the day that they told me to come in, and it was another cashier and I. They basically had us watch 2 slideshows about our position and what to expect from it. At the end, we had to take 2 different tests. After we were done, she had us punch in, and then she took us out to an empty register by the front, and she began training us. And right after that, she had us open a lane already. So we jumped in right into working, and the store was busy. This was the day right after Halloween, so a lot of things were on sale. When our shift ended, we clocked out, and the manager or someone had told us that our schedules were up and that we needed to check it every so often so we can know when to come in. Now, there was no set schedule though. It was always fluctuating. I'm not sure if it was a seasonal thing. Anyways, me personally, I was never a fan of those schedules because I could never be organized or have a routine. Like I say, I value my time in peace, and I see a job as a learning experience and also a source of income. Anyways, moving on to the next point. This one actually makes or breaks a lot of jobs, and that's going to be number 4, coworkers. Thankfully, at least the ones I met were friendly, welcoming. In the cashier department, there was a ratio of at least 3 to 1 girls to guys. Thankfully, no one was difficult to work with. Everyone got along pretty good. The other cashier that had started with me, she was really good at selling the Target red cards. I believe because she had a really good charisma. Another girl who had gone to my high school was there, and there was a girl who was seasonal last year, but she ended up getting hired, so she was always full of energy. And of course, there was always that one girl who took her job very precise, with good intention though. She kept reminding us to get more red cards. We need to get more red cards. Remember, 2 red cards under 1 hour equals 1 free Starbucks. Oh, then there was this one guy all the girls kept talking about, which I didn't blame him. He had skill. He was pretty cool. He was pretty chill. There was a few occasions, however, when people accidentally called me by his name, but that's probably because our names sounded similar. His name was Derek, so I guess we both started with a D, and that got like a little bit of mix up. There's one time I was pushing cards in the evening, and I hear from the distance someone calling out, "Hi, Derek," and I didn't want to have to correct him from that distance, like, "Oh no, I'm not him." So I just went with it and waved back. We don't necessarily resemble each other, but I guess from that distance and being one of a few guys who works at Target. Now number 5 is going to be the job itself. Now let me briefly go over this. Being a cashier was not that bad. I really did enjoy interacting with different people. The register took some time to get used to. The restocking shelf was okay when you just wanted a bit of peace from all that traffic of people. Now, one of the biggest factors about being a cashier was selling the Target red cards, which I personally wasn't a fan of for a couple of variety of reasons though. But I guess the main one would be that I really didn't want to mess with people's credit, and I didn't want to annoy them and have that perspective of me as soon as our interaction began. Every now and then they would schedule me to be card attending, which I really was okay with because pushing cards was a lot of fun. Even Derek had mentioned that they were fun. We thankfully at least had the plastic cards, so they were easy to maneuver around and it gave you a good workout. I would sometimes forget to go to break. We did have a power card machine, but it kept breaking down, so we had to push cards manually most of the time. I found $1 once, but I ended up giving it back to my shift leader because I wanted to show gratitude towards my job, that I wasn't just there for a paycheck. So Target, or at least the one I worked at, didn't have a custodial staff, so every now and then they would send one of us to go clean the restrooms, and at first I wasn't happy about it when they sent me, because it threw me off guard, like I didn't sign up for this. Not once did I think about cleaning public restrooms in my life. But after a while I got not used to it, but more of appreciation towards the job. Yes, I had a bit of pride at first, but after a while I just became more thankful and grateful to at least have a job because not many people get that opportunity. Another thing I got to do was the order pickup service, which would have been fun to do as well, but I only got to do like 3 of them. Number 6 is gonna be closing. Target was not 24 hours. On weekdays we closed at 11 p.m. and on weekends at 12 midnight. What we basically did was put everything that did not belong back in their place, which we called foreign, add any more inventory from the back, change any layout, bring in all the cards and clean up all the aisles, etc. It sounded simple, and it was. It just took forever. We weren't out of there until 2 a.m. Even when we finished our department, we weren't good to go because we had to go help out other departments, and at that time at night, you just want to leave. The only saving grace you had was when you hit meal compliance, which is when you go 6 hours without a lunch. So by terms, you had to leave. Now number 7 is going to be customers, and let me tell you that majority of them, about 80% of them were fine. The other ones that weren't pleasant to deal with were the ones that not necessarily got mad at me or for something wrong I did, but more so of the rules that were said, the coupons not working, and the prices of things. Now honestly, I don't have much to say here. Thankfully, I've never had someone yell at me or something crazy like that. I feel like I know how to deal with people, and I do my best to control a situation. Okay, so moving on to number 8, that's gonna be my last day in review. So there I am working like normally. My shift was about to be over soon, and 15 minutes before, my leader comes over and then she tells me that I can go to the employee area already. I get there and I put my radio away and the Zebra device that we had equipped back in their charging stations, and down the hall I hear someone calling my name. They're like, Daniel? I'm like, yes. Could you step into the office please? I get to the office room and I sit down and he begins saying, thank you for all your help. Just to let you know, you're gonna leave us in good standing, so in case you ever want to apply again, you're more than welcome to. I'm just gonna need you to clock out and I'm gonna need your name tag. And that was it. So, okay, did I enjoy my experience working for Target? Overall, absolutely yes, I did. Now finishing up with number 9, would I work for Target again? Honestly, probably not, because of a lot of personal reasons I've already explained through the video. But the main one would be because of the inconsistency that there was. But I do want to give a huge thank you to Target for hiring me and providing me with the opportunity to work. Thank you, Ms. Danya and Jessica, for considering me as an employee. It was an honor. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you can take away something from here. Maybe you are considering and working for them. Well, this was my insight and experience at working as a seasonal cashier for Target. Make sure to click that like button if you found this helpful in any way. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know if you enjoyed this story/experience video. Peace. Actually, my name tag was engraved, which was pretty cool, but they probably just had a different Daniel before. One of my coworkers, her name was Claudessa. Oh, get this, there was actually an Alex from Target there. Target accepts pesos. One time the sports guy from Univision 48 came in and he felt like a celebrity. I didn't shop at Target before or after I worked at Target. Actually, I think this shirt's from Target. I actually bought my shirts and khakis at Walmart. Oh, my friend Jose, he worked at Target. I forgot to mention that, but we basically just pretended not to know each other. Anyways, take care.